Ladies and gentlemen, man, let me tell you something. You ever felt like life just keeps hitting you? Like every time you take one step forward, something drags you two steps back. You start doubting yourself, wondering if you're even meant for something bigger. I know that feeling. We all do. But listen to me. You are not done. Your story ain't over. The future you're dreaming about, it's still out there, waiting on you. But here's the thing. You gotta keep fighting for it. You ever had one of those days where you wake up already tired? Not just physically, but deep down in your soul? Like you've been fighting a battle nobody sees, carrying a weight that keeps getting heavier. Maybe you've been working hard, but the results ain't showing up. Maybe you've been praying, waiting, hoping for a breakthrough, but the answer just isn't coming fast enough. And maybe, just maybe, you've looked around at other people, watching them move ahead while you feel like you're stuck in the same place. Man, I know that feeling. I know what it's like to lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if you're even on the right path. I know what it's like to put in the work, to give it everything you've got, and still feel like you're coming up short. To watch other people move ahead while you're stuck in the same place, asking yourself, is this even worth it? Am I wasting my time? Should I just stop? But let me tell you something, you are not done. This is not how your story ends. Your journey doesn't stop here just because things got hard. Your future, it's still out there, waiting on you, but it won't come to you. You gotta go get it. And here's the deal, you gotta decide, right now, are you gonna fight for it, or are you gonna let life break you? Because life is coming either way. The struggle is coming either way, but you get to choose how you respond. You get to decide if you're gonna stand up, wipe off the dust and keep pushing, or if you're gonna throw in the towel and wonder what if for the rest of your life. Because the truth is, the battle ain't over, and the only way you lose is if you quit. Life ain't fair, and if nobody told you that yet, let me be the first. It doesn't care how bad you want it, how hard you've worked, or how much you've already been through. It will hit you with everything it's got, knock you to your knees, shake your confidence, make you question everything, your dreams, your talent, your worth, even your purpose. You'll put in the work. You'll sacrifice sleep, put in hours when nobody's watching, give it everything you've got. And sometimes it'll feel like nothing's changing, like you're running in place while the rest of the world speeds ahead. You'll watch people with half your effort, half your talent, getting opportunities that never came your way. You'll wonder why doors keep shutting in your face, why the answer to your prayers hasn't come yet, why life keeps throwing obstacles in your path, when all you're trying to do is make something of yourself. And that's when doubt creeps in. That's when you start thinking, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm just not meant to make it. But listen to me, those thoughts, they are lies. They are fear disguised as logic. Because the truth is, struggle is not a sign to stop. It's a sign to push harder. It's life's way of asking you, how bad do you really want it? You'll see doors slam shut, right when you thought they were about to open. You'll watch opportunities slip through your fingers, not because you weren't good enough, but because life decided to test your patience, your resilience. And the hardest part, people you trusted will walk away. People you thought would be in your corner forever will act like you never even matter. And that cuts deep, because we can handle the struggle. We can fight through the failures. But when the people we counted on stop believing in us, that's the real pain. But listen to me, every single person who's ever made it has felt exactly what you're feeling right now. Every success story you've ever heard, it didn't start with victory. It didn't start with a perfect plan, a straight path, or an easy ride. It started with struggle. It started with rejection, failure, doubt, and nights where they questioned if they even had what it took. See the difference between those who make it and those who don't. It ain't talent. It ain't luck. It's not who had the best connections or the easiest start. No, it's the decision to keep going when everything in them is screaming to stop. When the results aren't showing up fast enough. When they feel like they're pouring their heart into something and getting nothing in return. When they want to walk away, but choose, instead, to take one more step, and then another, and another. Because that's what separates the winners from the quitters. Not magic, not some secret formula, just the willingness to outlast the pain, to push through the doubt, to refuse to let failure have the final say. And the worst part, it won't just be the world telling you no. It'll be your own mind. You'll hear that voice creeping in, whispering when you're at your lowest. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I should just give up. And some days, that voice will feel louder than everything else. Louder than your dreams. Louder than your potential. Louder than the part of you that still believes. But let me tell you something. Everybody goes through this. Every single person you admire. Every success story you've ever heard. They all had moments where they felt like throwing in the towel. They weren't special. They weren't superhuman. They were just like you, tired, frustrated, questioning if it was even worth it. But the difference, the ones who made it, the ones who turned their pain into power, their struggles into success, they made one decision. They kept going. When doubt screamed, they whispered back, "Not today." When fear told them to stop, they took another step forward. That's it. That's the game. It's not about never feeling like quitting. It's about refusing to let that feeling win. Now ask yourself, how many times have you given up too soon? How many times did you start something with passion, with fire, but the moment it got tough, you let it go? How many dreams have you watched slip through your fingers, not because you weren't capable, but because the struggle convinced you to stop? Be real with yourself. How many times have you walked away, not because it was impossible, but because it was uncomfortable? Because it took longer than you expected? Because failure made you feel small? But here's the truth. Every time you quit, you're training yourself to settle. You're teaching yourself that struggle means stop when it really means grow. Because if you keep walking away every time life gets hard, you will never know what you're truly capable of. You will never know the version of you that could have made it. The one who pushed through, who kept fighting, who became everything they were meant to be. So ask yourself, are you willing to keep repeating the same cycle? Or is today the day you decide that no matter what comes your way, you are not quitting this time? Listen to me. You weren't put on this earth to quit. You weren't built to break. You weren't given dreams just to watch them slip away. Every challenge, every setback, every failure, it's not here to destroy you. It's here to make you stronger. It's shaping you, molding you into the person you need to become to handle the success that's waiting for you. You ever wonder why it's so hard? Why it feels like every step forward comes with 2 steps back? It's because you're being tested. Life is asking you, how bad do you really want it? Are you willing to push through the pain? Are you willing to fight through the doubt? Because nothing worth having comes easy. If it did, everybody would have it. But success, greatness, purpose, that belongs to the ones who refuse to back down. You know how diamonds are made? Pressure. The kind of pressure that crushes anything weak. But for those that can withstand it, it turns them into something rare, something unbreakable. You know how gold is purified? Fire. It gets put through extreme heat to burn away everything that doesn't belong. And your struggle, it's your preparation. Every setback, every rejection, every late night and early morning, it's refining you. It's making you stronger, wiser, sharper. It's preparing you for the moment when your opportunity finally comes, because when it does, you'll be ready. So don't you dare quit. Don't you dare give up on yourself. Not now, not ever. Because if you keep pushing, if you keep believing, if you keep showing up, one day you're gonna look back and realize that every single challenge was shaping you for the life you were meant to live. Think about it. Some of the greatest people in history, the ones we admire, the ones whose names are written in success stories, they didn't have it easy. They weren't handed a golden ticket to success. No, they faced rejection, failure, humiliation, everything that should have made them quit. Oprah, she was fired from her first TV job because they told her she wasn't fit for television. Steve Jobs, kicked out of the very company he built. Michael Jordan, cut from his high school basketball team. Can you imagine that? The greatest player in basketball history being told he wasn't good enough. But here's what separates them from the rest. They didn't stop. They didn't let failure define them. They didn't let one rejection, one closed door, One moment of defeat convinced them that they weren't destined for greatness. Instead, they used it. They used the pain, the doubt, the disappointment as fuel to push harder, to get better, to prove to themselves that they were built for more. And if they could do it, so can you. You ever wonder why the journey is so hard? Why it feels like no matter how much you push, life keeps throwing obstacles in your way? It's because what's waiting on the other side is bigger than you can even imagine. The bigger the blessing, the tougher the battle. That's just how it works. And the enemy, whether it's fear, doubt, or the world itself, knows that if you keep pushing, if you keep believing, if you keep grinding, you're gonna win. So the question is, are you gonna let the struggle stop you, or are you gonna fight your way through it? Now close your eyes for a second, block out the noise, forget the doubts, the setbacks, the people who told you you can't. Just for a moment, see yourself in the future, not as you are now, but as the version of you who never gave up, the version who kept pushing, kept believing, kept working, even when it was hard. What does that person look like? How do they carry themselves? How do they walk into a room with confidence, with purpose, with a presence that says, I made it? Now go deeper. Picture that life. What do you see? Maybe it's the business you built, the career you fought for, the dream you turned into reality. Maybe it's you standing in a home you never thought you'd afford, surrounded by the people who believed in you, finally living the life you were meant for. Feel that moment. Breathe it in. That success, that peace, that feeling of knowing you did it. That's not some distant fantasy. That's your future. That's your selfless. If you refuse to quit, now open your eyes. Understand this. That future is waiting on you, but it won't come to you. You have to go get it. You have to fight for it. You have to decide right here, right now, that no matter what comes your way, no matter how tough it gets, you are not stopping until you become that person you just saw. Because the only thing standing between you and that future is whether you're willing to keep going. Now let me make one thing real clear. God didn't bring you this far just to leave you hanging. He didn't put that dream in your heart just to tease you. He placed it there because it's meant for you. But listen, faith alone won't get you there. Praying for a door to open is good, but are you knocking? Are you pushing? Are you doing the work? Because let me tell you something, faith without work is dead. You can't just sit back hoping for a miracle while doing nothing. You gotta move, you gotta hustle, you gotta show up even when you don't feel like it. You gotta work when nobody's watching, when nobody's clapping, when nobody believes in you but you. See, success doesn't come to the most talented. It doesn't come to the luckiest. It comes to the ones who refuse to quit, the ones who are willing to keep grinding when the results aren't showing up yet, the ones who stay committed even when it's hard, the ones who put in the work day after day when nobody's handing them opportunities, when nobody's telling them they're doing great. Because here's the truth, the grind will test you before it rewards you. The process will break you down before it builds you up. Look at anybody who's ever made it, athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. Every single one of them has one thing in common. They kept going when most people would have stopped. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They didn't wait for someone to tell them they were good enough. They decided for themselves that they were gonna make it, no matter what. So I'm asking you, are you willing to show up for your dream? Are you willing to outwork your doubt, outlast your fear, and push past every obstacle in your way? Because if you do that, if you combine your faith with relentless action, nothing can stop you. Not the setbacks, not the critics, not even the voice in your head telling you to quit. You were built for more. Now go prove it. You ever notice how every single person who makes it, whether it's in business, sports, music, acting, or any field, they all have the same story. They didn't have it easy. They weren't just handed success on a silver platter. They had to grind for it. They struggled. They failed. They hit walls so high it felt impossible to climb over. And yeah, there were moments, plenty of them, where they wanted to throw in the towel, where they questioned if it was even worth it. But here's what separates them from the rest. They didn't quit. When doubt was screaming in their ear, telling them they weren't good enough, telling them to give up, they kept going. When life knocked them down so hard they could barely breathe, they got back up. When the doors slammed shut in their face, they knocked again. They stayed committed, not because it was easy, not because they always felt confident, but because they refused to let fear, failure, or fatigue make the decision for them. And that's the difference between success and regret. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about the ones who refuse to stop, the ones who push when the odds are against them, the ones who fight for their future like their life depends on it. Because in a way, it does. Your dream, your purpose, your calling, it's on the other side of perseverance. So the question is, when life tests you, when the road gets rough, when everything in you wants to quit, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna fold or are you gonna fight? You have to ask yourself something real. Do you actually want success or do you just like the idea of it? Because there's a difference. Wanting something is easy. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants the rewards, the recognition, the lifestyle. But are you willing to put in the work when it's not exciting, when it's not convenient, when it's just you, grinding in silence with nothing to show for it yet? See, most people wait for motivation. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, the perfect conditions. But let me tell you something, motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. You can't build success on something that fades. Discipline, that's what separates the winners from the dreamers. Discipline means showing up when you don't feel like it, doing the work when nobody's clapping for you, staying focused when distractions are pulling you in every direction. It means pushing forward, even when everything in your life is screaming at you to slow down, take a break, or quit. So you gotta decide, are you just interested in success, or are you committed to it? Because interest fades when things get tough. Commitment keeps going, no matter what. And the truth is, success isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you create, something you earn, something you take full ownership of. No excuses, no blaming circumstances, no waiting for someone to come save you. Your future, it's in your hands. So what are you gonna do about it? I know it's tough. I know there are days when you wake up feeling like you've been running a race that never ends. You're moving, you're pushing, you're giving it everything you've got, but it still feels like you're stuck in the same place, like you're pouring your heart into something, yet the results just won't show up. And that feeling, that exhaustion, that frustration, it makes you wonder, is this even worth it? Am I even getting anywhere? But what if I told you, you are closer than you think? What if I told you that the breakthrough you've been waiting for, the opportunity you've been chasing, the success you've been dreaming of, it's right there, just beyond the struggle you're facing right now? What if all the pain, all the waiting, all the setbacks weren't signs that you should give up, but proof that you're on the verge of something bigger than you ever imagined? See, most people quit too soon, not because they weren't capable, not because they weren't deserving, but because they couldn't see how close they really were. They let the frustration cloud their vision. They let the struggle convince them that their efforts were pointless. But the truth is, every great victory is always preceded by a great test. The darkest nights come right before the sun rises, and the moment when you feel like giving up the most, that's often the exact moment when you're about to turn the corner. So here's what you need to do. Hold on a little longer, keep fighting a little harder, keep believing a little stronger, because when you refuse to quit, when you push past the doubt, when you stand firm, even when everything inside you is screaming to stop, that's when life changes. That's when the doors open. That's when the reward comes. And when that moment arrives, when you finally step into the blessing you've been working for, you're gonna look back and realize it was all worth it. Let me ask you something. What if the pain you're feeling right now isn't a reason to stop, but a sign that you're leveling up? What if this struggle, this frustration, this uphill battle isn't meant to break you, but to build you into something greater? What if every setback, every sleepless night, every tear, every moment of doubt is actually shaping you into the person you need to be for the life you're meant to have? Because here's the truth. Growth never happens in comfort. Strength isn't built when things are easy. Diamonds don't form without pressure. Muscles don't grow without resistance, and every person who ever achieved something great had to go through a season of pain that tested them, stretched them, and forced them to become more than they were before. See, pain isn't your enemy. Pain is your teacher. It's revealing what you're made of. It's exposing the weaknesses that need to be strengthened, the doubts that need to be silenced, the endurance you didn't even know you had. Every challenge you face is like a sculptor chiseling away at stone, carving out the masterpiece beneath. But the only way to see what's underneath, you gotta keep going. You gotta let the process refine you, not destroy you. So don't let this pain fool you into quitting. Let it prove to you that you're getting stronger, that you're evolving, that you're stepping into the version of yourself who's ready to handle the success that's waiting on the other side. See, most people don't make it, not because they aren't talented, not because they aren't deserving, but because they quit too soon. They let the exhaustion, the setbacks, the failures convince them that maybe the dream wasn't meant for them. They let the pain whisper lies in their ear, telling them it's easier to walk away than to keep fighting. And in that moment of doubt, they forget why they started in the first place. They forget the passion that lit the fire in them. They forget the vision that made them believe this was possible. They forget that struggle isn't a stop sign, it's a test. And instead of pushing forward, they let fear, frustration, and fatigue steal their future. They walk away, not realizing they were just inches away from everything they ever wanted. Think about that for a second. How many people gave up when they were right on the edge of their breakthrough? How many dreams were abandoned just before they turned into reality? How many times have you been one step away from something great, but let doubt convince you to turn back? But here's the thing, you're not going to be one of them. You're not going to let pain trick you into quitting. Because if you can hold on just a little longer, push through just a little further, fight just a little harder, you'll realize that what you've been chasing isn't as far as you thought. The breakthrough, the success, the dream, it's closer than you think. The only question is, will you keep going long enough to see it? But that's not going to be you. Not today, not after everything you've been through. You didn't come this far just to come this far. You've already survived the hardest days. You've already faced disappointments that should have broken you. You've already gotten back up from things that would have made someone else quit. So tell me, why would you stop now? Why would you let all that pain, all that effort, all that fighting go to waste? No, you keep pushing, you keep believing, you keep moving forward, even when it hurts, even when you're tired, even when you can't see the finish line. Because when you refuse to quit, when you hold on just a little longer, life has a way of surprising you. The reward is closer than you think. The blessing is bigger than you imagine. And one day soon, you're going to look back at this moment, the moment you almost gave up, and you're going to be so thankful that you did it. Let me leave you with this. Don't let today's struggle make you blind to tomorrow's blessing. What you're facing right now, it's temporary, but the future that's waiting for you, that's forever. And it's worth every fight, every tear, every sacrifice. New addition, emotional connection. One day, you're going to look back at this moment, the moment you almost quit, and you're going to be grateful you did it. You're going to thank yourself for pushing through, for believing when it was hard, for standing tall when life tried to knock you down. Now I want you to say this with me. Say it out loud. I ain't giving up. Say it like you mean it. I'm not giving up, because you're stronger than your struggles. You're bigger than your setbacks. And if you keep pushing, keep believing, keep moving, your future is waiting. So go get it.